morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened to date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for important and interesting happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. The source of this information comes from the smart device application, or comes from the website onthisday.com. For links to this source and anything else potentially interesting, please check the underbar in the description below. Anyway, and all links gathered throughout the show will appear post-live stream, as per usual. Anyway, I am AO Xander, and of course, you are you viewer. Thank you so much for participating in this show. Anyway, today is Wednesday, aka Odin's Day, aka Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. 5 days left. I'm counting down every day, and one of the perks of being poor is, you don't have to go Christmas shopping because, you have no expectations. Yay! Anyway, let's jump into the history today, shall we? Starting us off in 69, General Vespasian's troops occupied Rome after defeating the Emperor Vitellius. And then jumping up almost 1,000 years, 1046, Pope Gregory VI abdicated at the Council of Sutri, ending a conflict between himself, Benedict IX, and Sylvester III. Clement II then became the new pope. Alright, so that's a series of events that happened. 1192, Richard the Lionhearted was captured near Vienna by Leopold of Austria on his way home from the Third Crusade. He would be released 2 years later in 1194. Richard the Lionheart, yep. 1192, Richard, we got that one. 1522. Wow, I can't read today. Solomon the Magnificent accepted the surrender of the surviving Knights of Rhodes, who were allowed to evacuate. They eventually settled in Malta and became known as the Knights of Malta. Alright, so, good old California King bedsheet, on his head. Solomon the Magnificent and his magnificent turban. I want that. 1606, the English colonial expedition to America, consisting of the ships Discovery, Godspeed, and Susan Constant, departed Blackwall, London, to found Jamestown, Virginia. Hey, look at that. Now, one of these things is not like the other, though. So, we have Discovery, Godspeed, and Susan Constant. Who the hell was that? Oh, she's just a tag-along, Anyway, 1661, the Cooperation Act was enforced in England. And what is the Cooperation Act? Let's take a look at that here. 1661. Let's see here. Cooperation Act. It represents the limits to which he was prepared to go in endeavoring to restrict the power of the Presbyterians. They were influentially represented in the government of cities and boroughs throughout the country, and this act was designed to dispossess them. All right, so an act directly opposed to what people? The Presbyterians. That's right. So we already have our first link for today's show. So let's see here. Corporation. Wait, what? Oh, Corporation Act. Corporation Act. I read that as cooperation. I'm illiterate. Anyway, what else do we got here? 1669, the first jury trial in Delaware. Marcus Jacobson condemned for insurrection and sentenced to flogging, branding, and slavery. Whoa. That makes sense. Slavery was a prison sentence, but that's a life imprisonment. That's interesting. And with how prisons act today, slavery still is a thing. So, anyway, what else do we got here? 1699, Russian Tsar Peter the Great ordered Russian New Year changed from September 1st to January 1st. All right, so going along with the Gregorian calendar right there, the New Year is January 1st. And 1745, Brawny Prince Charlie's Jacobite army reached the River Esk north of North Yorkshire. Alright, so as I've said before, we seem to follow the chronicles of Bonnie Prince Charlie, the quote-unquote pretender to the British throne. He claimed to have legitimate heirship to it, and, history is written by the victor, and he was not the victor. So, speaking of victors, in 1780, Britain declared war on Holland. Huh, that's an interesting thing. And 10 years later, in 1790, we have the first successful U.S. cotton mill began spinning yarn in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, built by Samuel Slater based on Richard Arkwright's design. And let's not forget Pawtucket Patriot Ale. You know, so I wonder if in the lore of Family Guy, if this first cotton mill got turned into the brewery. That's an interesting question right there. Anyway, what else do we got here? 1790, no, 1803, the French flag was lowered in New Orleans to mark the former transfer of the Louisiana Purchase from France to the United States of America, purchased for $15 million. So, can you imagine that entire section just for $15 million a day? That is one hell of a steal right there. And 1812, Grimm's Fairy Tales for Children's and Household Tales, or the Children's of Household and Household Tales, by Jacob Grimm and Wilhelm Grimm was first published. Yep, the good old brothers Grimm and their fairy tales, and a lot of these Germanic stories ended up really horrifyingly. But you know what? I think maybe we should educate children about the horrors of the real world. Not coddle them and baby them for as long as we have. I mean, yeah, children deserve childhoods, but I mean, back in the day, they read stories about Hansel and Gretel. Didn't they die or something? I'm not sure. Anyway, 1830. Actually, no. We have this other one here. 1820. Missouri imposed a $1 bachelor tax on unmarried men aged between 21 and 50. That's interesting. So that, how everybody's always like, oh, well, all the laws are always against women and people and non-white people and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, some things, happened, that wasn't for the benefit of men, very, very rarely, admittedly, but still it happened. And, I'm going to ask you, the viewer, what would you think about this, bachelor tax? Would you be for a bachelor tax? Some kind of, I don't know. This is a whole discussion. Before I get into it, I'm actually going to put this into the Peanut. I want to talk about that in the Peanut, actually. That's really interesting stuff. Anyway, what else do we got here? 1830, Great Britain, France, Prussia, Austria, and Russia recognize Belgium. All right. Good old Belgium. Then 20 more years later, 1850, the Hawaiian Post Office, the Hawaiian Post Office was established. All right, so now they can get their mail. Cool. 1860, we're just going by tens, it seems like here. South Carolina was declared an independent commonwealth and seceded from the Union, during the Civil War. When did the Civil War actually exactly start? When was the American Civil War? April 12th, 1861. So this was before it, by about half a year, roughly. January, February, March, April. Yeah, about half a year. So, wow. So in about 6 months from now, 5-6 months, is when the Civil War will actually start in that timeline. 1870, well, I guess in our timeline, in that timeline, we're not in a parallel universe. Well, we might be. Actually, there's a theory that CERN killed the universe, and we had some kind of heavy particle that put us in another reality or something, and that's why everything's gone to shit. But we'll talk about that once again on the Peanut. 1879, Thomas Edison privately demonstrated incandescent light at Menlo Park, or incandescent, yeah. Thomas Edison, one of the biggest crooks in all of recorded history. You scumbag, animal murderer. Look up the story of Topsy the elephant, I think Topsy the elephant. Yeah, absolutely. This Edison, may you rot in hell, right next to Hitler and Mussolini. 1880, battle at Bronkers Spruit in Transvaal. Farmers beat Britain. Huh. All right, good for farmers. I'm always someone who enjoys it when the common man stands up for their rights. 1880 as well, New York's Broadway was lit by electricity, became known as the Great White Way. All right, well, let's take a look at this. Was there a photograph? 1880. Let's see here. I don't want that. Let's see. 1880, Great White Way. Images. Let's see that. Oh, okay. So, yeah. That's pretty cool, man. Nice. Moving on up to 1883, we're finally out of the zeros. International Cantilever Railway Bridge opened at Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls! Slowly my turn. If anybody doesn't know that, then you're uncultured. Anyway, between Canada and U.S. So let's see here. International Cantilever Railway Bridge. And did I just get a DM? I did get a DM. Who's DMing me? Technically. You are such a Fed, Ghosty. Oh my god, you are such a Fed. You know what? Hold on a second. I just called you a Fed on the show live. Take that, you person. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, so I want to look at this International Cantilever Railway Bridge. Oh yeah, this one. Alright. Cool, cool. It's a bridge with bridge-like qualities and architectures and whatnot. 1891, strongman, where is it? Wait, we're over here. Strongman Louis Sire withstood the pull of four horses. Dang, that is a very strong man. I missed a Fed thing. Yeah, you did. Well, you're missing it again right now. Like, yeah. Anyway, 1892, pneumatic automobile tire was patented in Syracuse, New York. All right, pneumatic automobile tire. Like, what is that? I want to look that up here. Like, pneumatic. It's not... Oh, okay. So, whatever this time. Oh, hey, Ghosty. Yeah, I've already called you a Fed, like, twice on the show because of what you DM'd me. So, you forced my hand, woman. Yeah, but right now I'm just looking up pneumatic tires because this is when it was patented. So, yeah. Let's see, is there an actual definition? What are pneumatic tires? Okay, alright. To start, pneumatic tires are similar to your regular car or truck tires and are mostly commonly used outdoors. There are two types, solid pneumatics and air pneumatics. The air pneumatics are filled with air, obviously, while the solid pneumatics are made of rubber and more puncture-proof. If you have nails, rocks, or other sharp objects around the yard or workspace, you may want to lean more towards the solid pneumatic option. Alright, so it's industrial tires, essentially. So let's see here. Pneumatic tires. Add that to the underbar section. If anybody wants to read more about that, and yeah, this is from what is this? TOCNS website? Yeah. Anyway, moving on up to 1893, the first state anti-lynching statute was approved in Georgia. All right, yeah, like we needed that, like definitely. 1900, Giacopini discovered a comet. This will be the first comet visited by a spacecraft. Oh, cool. So Giacopini's comet became later, you know, whenever it happened, at least 100 years or so. Well, you know, when did we discover, well, when did we visit Giacopini? Let's see here. When did we visit Giacopini comets? 1985. Okay. Yeah, Giacopini Zinner was a target of the International Cometary Explorer spacecraft, which patched through its plasma tail on September 11th, 1985. That's pretty cool. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to add that in the underbar as well. So, Giacopini comets. Alright. Moving on up, what else do we got here? 1905! Philadelphia Jack O'Brien won the World Light Heavyweight Boxing title after defending champion Bob Fitzsimmons of England retired in round 13 of 20 in San Francisco. Alright, so, you know, they were scheduled for 20 rounds, so, like, could you imagine? Cause this was boxing. Yeah, this was boxing. And, I wonder if there is set rounds, like, if they have to make it till 12 rounds or what, or if that's the limit. Because, like, there are knockouts, there are TKOs, you know, there's surrenders, you know, stuff like that. So, it's just interesting to me, at least, with my limited knowledge of sports, especially, you know, specific stuff, like, with any sport, but in this case being boxing, where they mandated to try to go for 20 rounds, and that's pretty exhausting right there. Anyway, moving on up to 1907, an explosion at Yolandi, Alabama coal mine killed 91 people. Yikes. Yeah, and mines, you know, and gas pockets and all that stuff. You gotta be careful with that. 1915, during the First World War, Anzac troops completed their withdrawal from Anzac Cove on the Gallipoli Peninsula. One of the greatest blunders in military history, Gallipoli. Yikes. So, you know, trying to open up a second front by invading the peninsula on the, well, where, like, some kind of isthmus or something. I don't remember exactly where it is geographically, but somewhere on the eastern side Greece. Moving on up to 1917, a second nationwide referendum on military conscription was rejected by the Australian public. Hey, look at that! You know, no drafts for the outback. At least back then there wasn't. But yeah, and this was actually, you know what? Speaking of Australia and whatnot, like, and it reminds me of the movie's called Gallipoli, starring a very young oh God, what was his name? The guy from The Patriot, the Australian guy. He made anti-Jewish remarks while help me out. I know you can hear me, Ghost. Help me out. Hold on a second. Let me get rid of that. The Patriot. Mel Gibson. There we go. Very young Mel Gibson. Yeah, really good movie. It's about actually the Australian Light Horse Brigade and their involvement in the Gallipoli Peninsula. And yeah, it's a really good movie. I would recommend going and watching it. Pardon me. Moving on up to 1917 as well. Cheka formed Soviet State Secretary Force and forerunner of the KGB under Felix Dzerzhinsky after decree by Lenin, of course, Vladimir Lenin. So yeah, the predecessor to the KGB. Oh yeah, it says here that they changed it. Soviet State Security Force and forerunner to the state. Yeah, so Cheka forms. Oh. Yeah, they altered it, as they usually do. 1918, the Allies turned their attention to Bolshevik expansion in the East, landing troops in Crimea and Latvia. You know, I remember somebody told me I needed to pay attention and, you know, care about all the stuff happening in Ukraine, and I just told them to cry me a river. So, 1919, Canadian National Railways was established. This was North America's longest at the time at 50,000 kilometers. So that's some Canadian history up there for you maple-loving moose people. So, that, you know, gotta love the neighbors to the north. We also have, 1919, U.S. House of Representatives restricted immigration. Oh, hey, they had their heads on right back in the day, you know? I mean, like, we really should, you know? Sometimes history should repeat itself, you know, if it's a good thing, you know? Like, we need to look at stuff happening domestically really, really strongly. Moving on up to 1920, Bob Hope became an American citizen at the age of 17. He immigrated from England at the age of 4. Wow, so that took him a while. So that entire time he was not really a citizen, but yeah, a legal immigrant. There you go. 1921, the American League voted to return to Best of 7 World Series, while National League voted Best of 9. Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis cast a deciding vote for the Best of 7. Alright, good old Mountain Landis. What a name. Like, first off, who the hell calls their child Kennesaw? Like, can you imagine? Oh, here's my baby boy. His name is Kennesaw. You know? Or I guess that's long for Ken. I didn't even know Ken had a longer version of name. But now we know. But then the middle name Mountain. Okay, you know, now you're getting a little weird. Anyway, 1922. You know, and here we go. Like, well, actually, at least they highlighted this other one up here, but this one here in 22 is extremely important, and I'm not surprised that our leftist-leaning source, you know, wouldn't highlight this. Although I am surprised it's even on here. But 1922, 14 republics from the Union of Socialist, or formed the Union of Socialist Soviet Republics, the USSR. So this is the actual start. You know, 101 years ago on this date was when the USSR, according to this article here, was officially created. So, I mean, of course, you know, Lenin with his Bolshevik Revolution and all that stuff started before that. That's how they got out of the First World War in 1918. You know, 4 years prior. But still, the actual Soviet Union took a while to get steam, and here we are. So, and then 2 years later, as I made a comment about this, they actually highlighted this because this is pretty big. Adolf Hitler in 1924 was freed from jail early after having served only 9 months of a 5-year sentence for the beer hall putsch. So all the people going around, you know, making jokes about how crap our penal system is and whatnot. Well, you know, Germany released Hitler 9 months into a 5-year sentence. That is not serving his time, you know? And as we know, the rest is history. And I mean, like, all it takes is one asshole to be left out of prison early to just start an entire chaos, you know? So, anyway, Moving on up to 1925, National Football League Championship, Chicago Cardinals 11-2-1 win the controversial first past the post title. Pottsville Maroons were suspended after playing an unsanctioned game. Huh. And I know that my mic is cutting in and out on Discord, and I think I just need to increase, so bear with me. Let me go into my settings here, because it's probably hell the poor ghost trying to catch up with what I'm saying. So let me reduce my sensitivity a little bit. Okay, hopefully that works a little bit better. If it doesn't, ghost, let me know. Anyway, what else do we got here? 1926, the St. Louis Cardinals traded future Baseball Hall of Fame infielder Rogers Hornsby to the New York Giants for Frankie Frisch and Jimmy Ring. This was because of concerns over Hornsby's gambling. So they just, they're like, you know what? You can have the gambler. I don't care how good he is. We just don't want to deal with that problem, you know? And, you know, that makes sense. You know, there's a give and take. 1928, we have the first international dog sled mail left Minot, Maine for Montreal, Quebec. Yep, you know, like, postage has to be delivered. And it was far too cold, you know, for any form of, like, Pony Express or aircraft, or, you know, maybe there wasn't any train tracks there. So, I mean, you know, what do? You use the dog sleds. Yeah. 1929, Mount Davidson was dedicated as a San Francisco City Park. Cool. 1933, Bolivia and Paraguay signed a ceasefire. I had no idea they were fighting each other, but, you know, I mean, everybody fights each other at some point or another, so yeah. 2 years later, 1935, Pope Pius XI published encyclical Ad Catholici Sacramentali on the importance of priestly celibacy. Yeah? You know, like, if you're gonna go around being a Bible thumper, you gotta practice what you preach, buddy. You know? Like, so, yeah, all the priests, you know, gotta remain celibate. And, you know, that also means leaving the choir boys alone. You know? Anyway, moving on up to 1938, the Boston Bruins rookie goalie Frankie Brimsick recorded his third straight shutout with a 3-0 win over New York Americans, making it his incredible sixth shutout in his first 8 NHL games. Wow, like 6 out of 8, and he shuts out. That is incredible. So Frankie Brimsick, you know, deserves a lot more recognition than he's getting here for that feat. That's pretty incredible right there. 1939, Radio Australia begins overseas shortwave service. Oh, crikey, mate, throw a shrimp on the Bobby Bloomin' Onion. You know? I don't know. Again, shark! Watch out for the shark! 1940, Connie Mack acquired controlling interest in the Athletics for $42,000. Okay. And moving on up to 1941, during the Second World War, we have the first battle of the American volunteer group, better known as the Flying Tigers in Kunming, China. Yeah, there's a movie about them, actually. Let me look that up here. Flying Tigers movie. Flying Tigers. The 1942. Oh, well, was it released in 1942? Well, I mean, that would be a year after it. Flying Tigers film. I thought there was a recent one. Huh. Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna add this into the movie night video channel, because where is it? Here it is, movie night. Because I am very movie illiterate. So, what else do we got here? 1942, the first Japanese bombing of Calcutta. Wait, what? Wait, okay, yeah, that. Man, they're inland. Holy crap. That kind of blew my mind for a second. I'm like, what the hell is Japan doing in India? But yeah, I mean, you know, they're right there, you know. But where is Calcutta on the map? Calcutta map. I thought they were on the western. No, they're on the eastern. Calcutta is all the way over there. Okay, so that would make sense. But wow, they are really inland. Japan really expanded with their invasion of everybody around them. Good lord. Wow. I didn't know they were that deep. 1943, Internationale was no longer used as a USSR national anthem. Alright, you know, and then, I wonder if that, or the one that they used, they that one, you know, I don't know. 1944, Archbishop D. Young and Bishop Huibers condemned the black market. Yeah, I mean, you know, Nobody likes a black market. You know, illegal stuff, you know, shady dealings, price gouging, you know, and you don't know whether or not you might get stabbed. So, yeah. 1944, Battle of Bastogne. Nazis surround the 101st Airborne Units, and this would later be known as the Great Nuts Reply. For anybody who knows World War II, before Patton went up and carved a trail of death through the German front during the Battle of the Bulge to relieve the 101st on Bastogne, they were ordered to surrender by the German units, and the general in the area, I forgot his name, sent a one-word reply. It just said nuts. And the Germans had no idea what the hell that meant, because that's slang, you know, for crazy. But back then, you know, there was no internet, there was no, you know, like, you know, how things are today, you know, and all that stuff, like with culture mingling and whatnot. So they just thought he was saying, like, you know, nuts is in the food. It's just like, what the hell does he mean by that? They were so confused. You know, they had no idea what that meant. So, yeah. Anyway, 1944 as well, the bishop forbade the membership of non-Catholic unions. So, you know, more divisiveness in Christianity, you know. I mean, like, every religion has their various sects. You know, there's you know, the Jews have, you know, the Zionists, the Christians have the Catholics, the Protestants, the Christians, you know, the Westboro Baptists, the Catholic, you know, I think I already listed the Catholics. The Muslims have the Sunni and the Shiites and, you know, various other groups. So, like, yeah, there's not only they're fighting amongst different religions, but they're fighting inside themselves. So, yeah. Anyway, 1945, rationing of auto tires ended in the United States. Yeah, because, you know, rubber was really needed for the war effort. So there is an extreme ration on a lot of various things, including but not limited to especially tires and metals. You know, nickel and whatnot was really needed. 1946, the Christmas classic It's a Wonderful Life film, directed by Frank Capra, starring James Stewart, Donna Reed, and Lionel Barrymore, premiered in New York. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings, you know? Alright. 1946, Darius Milhaud's Second Symphony premiered with the Boston Symphony conducted by the composer. The work was commissioned as a memorial to the wife of the group's music director, Serge Koussevitzky. So, rest in peace, Mrs. Koussevitzky, however you pronounce that name. So, 1951, Walter Zinn's experimental breeder reactor 1, the first nuclear reactor to produce electric power, went live at the Argonne National Laboratory in the United States. All right. Wow. Wow. 1951. We already have functioning nuclear reactors producing electricity. And recently, you know, we were talking about cold fusion, and as of earlier this year, we actually have developed a form of cold fusion that produces more power than what requires going in to create it. So, you know, like, major scientific advancement right there. 1955, Cardiff was proclaimed the capital city of Wales. Alright, cool. 365 days later, 1956, Montgomery, Alabama, removed race-based seats assignments on its buses. Good. You know what, like, I was gonna say I stand up with Rosa Parks, but no, I sit down with Rosa Parks. The one time you actually sit for your rights. Oh, man, good old Rosa Parks, one of the greatest people who ever lived, you know, like, yeah. You gotta, you know, as I said, you gotta stand up, or in this case, sit down, you know, for what's right. Anyway, 1957, Elvis Presley received his draft notice to join the U.S. Army for National Service, and I believe he did answer the call. He did serve in the U.S. military for a short time. So, yeah, celebrities in the military. You know, we all know about, you know, people who served and later on, you know, became celebrities or whatever for this, that, and the other politicians or whatnot. But, you know, while they were active celebrities, I mean, I think Muhammad Ali served as well. I'm not sure. Or was he a draft dodger? I don't know. Anyway, 1960, Auschwitz commandant Richard Barr was arrested in German FR. Good. They got him. Good. And while that was going on, the National Liberation Front, better known as the Viet Cong, the VC, was officially formed in South Vietnam. So, yeah, we spoke about when Ho Chi Minh started the whole you know, revolution to take over the country from France and all that stuff, you know, yesterday and everything. And, you know, here we go, the formation of the VC. 1963, the Berlin Wall opened for the first time to West Berliners. All right, cool, cool. And while that was going on, a trial against 21 camp guards of Auschwitz began. Good. You know, it took far too long, in my opinion, for them to catch and try them. But hey, you know, better late than never. So, what else do we got here? 1966, the NBA awarded the Seattle Supersonics a franchise for the 1967 to 68 season. All right, cool, cool. And I wonder if there's still a team today. I'm not entirely sure. Seattle Supersonics, I think they're still around. Because I remember that name. Oh, years active until 2008. Okay, well, they're not around, but they did last until then, so that's why they're in my head. But they have not been around for quite some time. That's kind of sad. 1966, nuclear planning group formed in Brussels. All right, we got a plan for nuclear stuff, so, you know, that makes sense. And then, as of on this time in 1967, we had 474,300 U.S. soldiers in Vietnam. Oh, what a disaster that was. But you know what? At least the boomers can say, you know, can point and laugh at us, you know, younger generation, you know, for what happened in Afghanistan, because that was worse. That was far worse. And you know what? That was the first time that Brandon has actually been truthful about something. It wasn't as bad as Vietnam. It was worse. You know? That's what he meant. But, you know, it just shifted. America can be summed up in 3 words. So, you know, yeah. Anyway, moving on up to 1967 as well, Ian Anderson and Glenn Cornick formed the rock group Jethro Tull in Blackpool, England. If anybody knows about that, there you go. There's your little shout out. 1968, Leary Constantine became the UK's first person of African descent to be named a life peer to sit in the House of Lords in the Crown's New Year Honours list. All right. So, you know, civil rights not just happening in the U.S., but there you go, in the UK right there. First black guy, you know, to sit in the House of Lords. Well, you know what? Let me do my my cheer for you. That's what he deserves. Woo! 1968 as well, the People's Democracy PD announced that its members will undertake a protest march from Belfast to Derry beginning on January 1st the next year, 1969. You know, so that's coming up in 12 days from now. All right. 1968 as well, the Zodiac Killer murdered teenagers Betty Lou Johnson and David Faraday while on their first date together in Vallejo, California. Wow. What an awful way to end a date. Like, that's... Dude, that's just awful. Like, you know, you're going out on a date. On top that, it's your first date. Atop that, you get killed. That's bullshit, you know? Like, god damn it. You know, that's awful. So... And Jewel Chicky, I'm sorry, you know, for dropping that GD right there. It's just like, this is just really disgusting. Like, these 2, you know, poor young lovers just wanted to go out on a nice time and they end up dead, you know? Well, I guess they skipped the marriage part till death do you part, you know, so I don't know. Anyway, 1969, Peter, Paul, and Mary's cover of John Denver's song Leaving on a Jet Plane reached #1. All right, that's pretty cool. 2 years later, 1971, we have the first preview issue of Miss magazine, was published in the U.S., launched by Gloria Steinem. All right. 1972, The Effect of Gamma Rays on the Man in the Moon Marigolds. That is a mouthy title right there. Film directed by Paul Newman and starring his wife Joanna Woodward, premiered in New York City. Is that an actual scientific film or something, or is this like some stupid rom-com or whatever? Let's see here. It is a book. Okay. It's a playwright and science teacher. Oh, that was the author of it. Let's see here. What is the effect? What is this? Presents the themes of alienation and man's inhumanity to man played out in the microcosm of the family. Life has not been kind to Beatrice Hunsdorfer. Well, I mean, they gave her that name, so that's a start. She takes her frustration and hatred on the world out on those around her. Yikes. That's kind of scary. But let's see here. I want the movie. I gotta see this movie now. Let's see. Is there a Wikipedia? Here we go. So let me add this into the movie night as well. So yeah, interesting stuff. That reminds me of what's the other, like the Mother Murderer? Mother murderer movie. No, not Arma. It's Alice showed it to me. It's about a woman. She's a mom and she goes crazy and she starts killing people who wronged her children. Serial Mother? The Serial Mother? Serial Mom. There we go. That's it. That's the movie I'm thinking about. Serial Mom. Kind of this thing kind of reminds me of that. It's a really good movie. I've seen this one at least. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back on the show here. 1972. 5 civilians, 4 Catholics, and 1 Protestant were killed in a gun attack at the top of the Hill Bar in Derry, Northern Ireland. That's not nice. While that was happening, Neil Simon's play The Sunshine Boys, starring Jack Albertson and Sam Levine, and directed by Alan Arkin, opened at Broadhurst Theatre, later transferring to the Schubert, then the Lunt-Fontanne. It didn't transfer twice. It was known as the Lunt-Fontanne, which later became known as the Schubert. So, in New York City, it ran for 538 performances, winning 2 Tony Awards. Nice. Alright. And then we got 1973. Montreal Canadian Henry Richards scored his 1,000th NHL points. Awesome. 1974, The Godfather Part 2, directed by Francis Ford Coppola and starring Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, was released. Later received the Academy Awards Best Picture in 1975. And as I think it was Digger 420, who was shocked to know I haven't seen any of them. When she said, "Oh, blah blah blah, you have to see all 3," I'm like, "There's 3?" Like, I knew about 2, but I didn't know there was 3 of them. So that just emphasizes my point, how culturally ignorant I am, as far as movies are. Anyway, moving on up to 1974, Ethiopia became a socialist one-party state. That's not good. So, yikes. 1974 as well, George Harrison released Dark Horse, his 5th studio album in the UK, and I speak about that just for Creek Alley because he's our resident Beatles nut. 1975, Joe Walsh recruited to join the Eagles. And was that a band or something? I'm not entirely sure, so that's a question for the Loon or for Creek or anybody who knows anything about 70s music. Were the Eagles a band? It sounds like a band. I'm not sure. Who the hell was Joe Walsh? I'm just going to look up this article, surface level scratch. Here we go. At, what a name. Suggestion. Walsh joined the Eagles in 1975 as the band's guitarist, it was a band, and keyboardist following the departure of their founding member Bernie Leadon. Hotel California was his first album with the band. Oh, I did not know that. My anthem. My life anthem, Hotel California. He was involved in that. Wow, and that just shows, how stupid I am. I am so, ignorant when it comes to movies and pop culture and all that stuff for the most part. Wow, that's pretty cool. He was involved in Hotel California. I had no clue. Huh. Alright. Anyway, 1977, we have the first spacewalk was made by Soviet cosmonaut Gregory Grishko during the Salyut 6 EO1 mission. So yeah, the first spacewalk. And it's pretty incredible stuff. 1977 as well, RAF terrorist Nut Falkerts was sentenced to 20 years. What a name. Nut Falkerts. that sounds like a position that I don't want to try. Anyway, what else do we got here? 1978, H.R. Haldeman, Nixon's White House chief of staff, was released from jail after serving 18 months. Yep, looking very angry guy. 1979, Gary Sherman and Peter O'Dowell's musical Comin' Uptown, based on Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, and starring Gregory Hines, opened at Winter Garden Theater in New York City, running for 45 performances. Okay, pretty cool. 1979 as well, Philadelphia Flyers defenseman Ben Wilson scored with 4 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in regulation to earn a 1-1 tie with the Pittsburgh Penguins, an equal NHL record for longest undefeated streak of 28 games, went on to break the record and extend it to 35 games. Wow. Alright. Great stuff. What else do we got here? 1981, Browns set team records for most fumbles 9 and most turnovers 10. So on one day, you set 2 records. One's bad. I don't know what a turnover is, if it's good or bad. I have a ping in my server. I've been pinged in my sidebar. Hold on a second. What is it that she's saying? Read my chat. Oh, okay. I'm being told to read my chat. Hold on a second. Which chat though? Oh, this chat. Yo! Oh, hey, winning! Hey! Sorry, it took me a while. I just, once I start reading history, I just get sucked into it. But hey, yeah, thank you for letting me know about Mel Gibson. Letting me know about a band, hotel. Wow, you're telling me everything I eventually figured out. Okay, I really gotta pay attention to my chat. Like, as you can see on my screen, I'm doing like way too many things and my brain is fried. So yeah. Anyway, what else do we got here? 1981, Harry Krieger and Tom Egan's musical Dreamgirls opened at Imperial Theater in New York City, running for 1,522 performances, winning 6 Tony, 5 Drama Desk, and 2 Grammy Awards. Holy cannoli! That must have been a great musical, So, I mean, it's called Dreamgirls, so, you got the title down, you got people interested right there. 1981, Winnipeg left-wing Doug Smale set NHL record by scoring just 4 seconds into the Jets' 5-4 win over the St. Louis Blues. Fastest goal from opening face-off to back of net in history, later tied by Brian Trottier and Alex Moglini. Alright, that's pretty cool. 1983, El Salvador adopted its constitution. Alright, good stuff right there. 1983 as well, Guy Lafleur of the Montreal Canadiens became the 10th NHLer to score 500 goals. Okay. What else do we got here? 1983, New York Islanders scored their most goals, 11, versus Pittsburgh Penguins. Alright. 1983 as well, the PLO chairman Yasser Arafat and 4,000 loyalists evacuated Lebanon. Wonder what was really going on over there. Obviously something to do with Israel. So, I mean, that's PLO, Palestine Liberation Organization or something like that. So, I don't know. 1985, the position of American Poet Laureate was established. Robert Warren became the first. All right, yeah, so we always know about, the British Poet Laureate. It's been around for centuries. And, yeah, it was until 85 we, out here in the U.S. finally got ours. We also have sportscaster Howard Cosell retired from television sports after 20 years with ABC. All right. 1987, I just thought of a new term for ABC, already been communized. Anyway, 1987, Donna Paz ferry sunk after the crash with oil tanker Victor in the Philippine waters. 4,386 people died in the world's deadliest peacetime maritime disaster. Yikes. Yikes. So, man, that's just awful. Like, dude, like that's more than Pearl Harbor and 9/11 combined. Think about that. I think, like, maybe I'm 100 people off. I'm not sure, but like that's really close. 1988, animal rights terrorists firebomb Harrods department store in London. You know what? See, here's the thing. You want to be a climate change activist. You want to be for animal rights. You want to be a vegan. Cool. But when you go and you do things like this, all you're doing is pissing people off and making your cause look bad and building up an army against yourself. Like, don't do what the Silence did when Doctor Who broadcasted them to the entire world during the moon landing, if anybody even understands the reference I'm making. Like, it's kind of funny. I've never seen an episode 1 of Doctor Who, but I'm making geeky-ass references. But still, don't build an army against yourself. Do things that'll garner support, not make people hate you. Freaking stupid people. Swear to God. Anyway, in 1988, NBC signed a lease to stay in New York City for 33 more years. Okay, well, let's see. Let's do some quick math. See, I know it's been more than that. So 1988 plus 33 equals 2021. So are they still there? You know what? Let's look this up. Is NBC still in? Can't type here. In New York. There we go. Where is NPC? NBC. Blech. My fingers are retarded. My mouth is, everything about me is retarded. They are located on 30 Rockefeller. Okay, so they're still there. God, I swear to God, I'm okay. My brain needs to calm down. What else do we got here? In 1989, U.S. troops invaded Panama and ousted Manuel Noriega, but did not catch him. So, yeah. And currently, I think the canal, like the land is owned by Panama, but the water is owned by the U.S. Like something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Like it's like a split thing. You know, let me look it up here right now, really quick. Who owns the Panama Canal? Let's see. What country currently owns the Panama Canal? Ultimately, in 1999, the canal was peacefully transferred to Panama. Okay, blah blah. Okay, so I know that, but I think the U.S. still has kind of some jurisdiction to some degree. I'm not sure. Anyway, moving on up to 1991, the Pentagon warned Saddam Hussein that U.S. air power is ready to attack on January 15th. They weren't kidding, you know. So, 1990 as well, the world's first website and server went live at CERN. All right, so yeah, anybody out there who has a website, you know, yeah, the very first website was on CERN, and like we have a website too. So yeah, nowadays. So anyway, in 1991, Missouri court sentenced Palestinian militant Zain Isa and his wife Maria to death for the honor killing of their teenage daughter, Palestinia. That's an interesting name, Palestinia. In St. Louis, he died of diabetes complications before execution. Then she died of natural causes while in prison. Those fates are too good for those scum-sucking pieces of shit. How can you kill your child? What the hell's wrong with you? I'm not even a parent, but I find that abhorrent. You know? Like, I don't care what religion you are. There is no such thing as an honor killing of your child, you know? Because if you want to do an honor killing, then you might as well do an honor suicide, because, you know, you're the one who raised her to be like this. Alright? So, I mean, you know, just saying. Play with the ball in your court. You know? So, God, that's disgusting. Anyway, 1991 as well, the National Hockey League approved the expansion teams Tampa Lightning and Ottawa Senators. Alright, so if you're a fan of either one of those, you know, here's when they got their start. 1992, Northwest and KLM introduced a new joint logo, Worldwide Reliability. So let's take a look at this. What does this logo look like here really quick? Okay, so is this the right one? Worldwide joint logo. You know what? Hold on a second. Let me just look up this entire article here. Okay. Okay. Oh, here's the history of their logos right here. So now they're, as of 2011, they're this one. All right. 1995, NATO began peacekeeping in Bosnia. Peacekeeping. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you know, whatever. 1996, first part of the new building for the National Library of France was inaugurated in Paris, designed by Dominique Perrault. Alright, so, National Library of France. Let's take a look at this. I don't need pneumatic automobile tires anymore. What year was this? 1996? Alright, so, okay, that's kind of boring. So it's just a freaking office building. Oh, okay, I see you have... That looks like something out of a video game, like some kind of headquarters, like something or other. Interesting. Huh. And just these are steps. You know what? Let's see here. Maps. Do they have a map of it? National Library of. Oh, here we go. So let's take a look at this. Let me bigger this. So this is what it actually looks like. Huh. Cool. That's interesting. What's with the upper floors? Can you walk up there? No. Are those just... Are those stairs leading to nowhere? Are they leading up to the... Okay, no. What? The hell? Okay, there's doors. Okay, so the stairs lead up to doors. This is bizarre. This is so weird. That is... strange. Why would you have a massive open foyer with stairs that lead up to a wall that doesn't wall anything else off other than it being there for the purpose of being there? And then there's a door, you know, really good roof, but, I mean... And the entire side, everything is all that stairs? Oh my god, is all of that oh my god, it's all steps. All of that. You can't really see, hold on a second, there we go. It's all stairs. The entire around it is all stairs. What the hell? That is bizarre. I mean, it's cool, but this is an interesting building, huh? You know, I want to go visit this one day. Anyway, let's get back to the show here. 1996, horror film classic Scream, starring Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox, was released. This is a bit out of season. So, yeah, what are you doing releasing Scream in December 20th? What the hell? That is incredibly out of season. Not only did you miss Halloween, but you missed Thanksgiving, and now you're encroaching on Christmas. So, you know, and as retaliation, you know what? Now I understand why, you know, Christmas seems to come around at the turn of July, you know, because that's it pushing back. Christmas up until 96 was being nice, staying in this old little corner, you know, allowing all the other holidays, but then freaking Halloween had to overstep its bounds and try to release a horror movie, you know, in Christmas's domain. And actually, isn't that the premise for A Nightmare Before Christmas, you know, itself right there? Huh. I wonder if we're living in a parallel reality with events happening in a different way. You know, but instead of Jack Skellington, it's just some idiot director releasing a movie way too late. That's a theory. 1999, Portugal returned Macau to China. Okay. And then moving on up into 2000s. In 2001, Argentine economic crisis president of Argentina, Fernando de la Rúa, was forced out of office. Alright, yeah, you know, Argentina always destabilized. 2002, The Gangs of New York, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Cameron Diaz, was released. Yet another movie I have yet to see. 2005, New York City's Transport Workers Union Local 100 went on strike over pension and wage increases, shutting down all subway and bus services for 3 days. Whoa, that is crippling right there. New York, subways and buses shut down for 3 days. How does it move? That's the heartbeat. That's the blood right there of the city. And it stopped. That's, you know, so many people belittle, like, you know, low guy on the totem pole, the bottom bitch, the entry-level job, the blue-collar worker. Well, you know, without all of those things, there wouldn't be anything else. That's the foundation. So, yeah. 2005, the first same-sex civil partnerships in Scotland were celebrated. Alright, cool. We also have U.S. District Court Judge John E. Jones III ruled against mandating the teaching of intelligent design in his ruling of Kitchener versus Dover Area School District. So, I mean, like, how the pendulum swings. It used to be that creationism was king and evolution was outlawed, and now evolution is king and intelligent design, you know, is no longer allowed or against. Actually, never mind. Like, I misread that. It ruled against the mandating of teaching of it. So he's not shooting it completely down. He's just taking it away of mandation. Okay, so all right. I gotta learn how to read and pay attention. Like, as Shetty said to me last night, I need to listen to others, not listen to my answers. You know, really, really good words of wisdom right there. You know. It's still hard to make sense of that, but, like, you know, it just proves how ignorant I am. 2006, a judge rules against the death penalty in the case of Naveed Haq, a man convicted in the shooting death and injuries at the Jewish Federation in Seattle. Yikes. Moving on up to 2007, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II became the oldest ever monarch of the United Kingdom, suppressing Queen Victoria, who lived for surpassing, she's dead! Surpassing Queen Victoria, who had lived for 81 years, 7 months, and 29 days. But let's not forget that she's not the oldest monarch in history. She's only the oldest monarch in the United Kingdom. When Elizabeth II first died, they kept trying to say, oh, the oldest monarch in history, the oldest. No, that was Louis XVI. You know, so the oldest monarch in history. Period. Who is the oldest monarchy in the world? Well, no. Who was the oldest monarch in history? All right. Who is the oldest? Okay. Who is the oldest monarch ever to be crowned? No, it wasn't. Okay, no. Who's the oldest, longest serving? Here we go. It wasn't King Louis. No. Wait, yeah, it was. I'm stupid. It was King Louis. I'm stupid. Yeah, King Louis the 14th, reigning over 72 years. Yeah, but Queen Victoria, and it says lived for 81 years. This is not reigning. So right there, they're already trying to twist words around and instill confusion. So yeah, no. Queen Elizabeth II was not the longest reigning monarch in all of the world. Only the United Kingdom. Like, you know, put it in the sand. 2007, a painting portrait of Suzanne Bloch from 1904 by the Spanish artist Pablo Picasso was stolen from the Sao Paulo Museum of Art, along with O Lavrador de Café by the major Brazilian modernist painter Candido Portinari. Alright, so let's see, a portrait of Suzanne Bloch, 1904. Let's take a look at this artwork to see which one it was. Okay, this one was stolen. Whoever would steal this one, I don't know. Like, looking at the angle of it and all that stuff, it looks like he painted over originally the sketch of a penis. I mean, you know, if you follow the lines and the curves and the shape and everything, I mean, I hope to God that there wasn't somebody who actually looked like that in real life, because that's a face for radio right there, you know, all of this. So, but what was the other one? O Lavrador de Café. So, what is this painting here? Let's see. Oh, this one. All right. I've never seen this one. I thought this was the cafe one, but this is oh, the coffee. So, so this is a coffee laborer. Okay, I get it now. All right. That one I would steal. Like, I would tell that's a cool painting right there. You know, because it represents, you know, like the hard work of people, and you know, historically symbolizes, you know, slavery of the past and everything, because we gotta remember everything of history, both the good and the bad. And, you know, slavery, of course, being a bad thing, but if we sweep everything under the rug, we won't have any examples to know what not to do, you know? Stop destroying statues, damn it! Anyway, moving on up to 2007, Sikiki Zayed Grand Mosque was completed. It had begun in 1994, becoming the largest mosque in Abu Dhabi. Alright, so let's take a look at this. I'm a sucker for architecture. Let's see here. Sikiki Mosque. Ooh, oh, wow. Is that real? Holy crap. This looks like something straight out of Aladdin. Like, this does not look real. That is enormous. Wow. Wow. Well, now I know another place to visit. That is enormous. Hold on, let me see. I gotta get maps of this one here. Let's see. Let me get layers. Let me bigger this. There we go. Let me zoom in. Oh, it doesn't let me? That is one very flat mosque. But, alright. Well, it won't let me get a 3D view, but here you go. This is what it looks like. That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And look at those, so much flanked by, oh my god, all of that is parking. Wow. Like, you have parking, every style and shape and type of parking imaginable. Is this parking? That is parking. Yeah, there's light poles here. So there has to be overflow parking for something. Or maybe to hold events, but this entire thing is the mosque. It's not just this building, this entire land area. Man, that is enormous. I gotta go visit that one day. That is beautiful. So, anyway, moving on up to 2012. Apple was denied a patent for mobile pinch-to-zoom gestures by the U.S. Patent Authority. Wow! Are you kidding me? Wow, so, you know, if you were, like, on your phone and you want to, like, you know, do this, you know, or this, Apple was trying to make that proprietary. Are you kidding me, Apple? You scum-sunking sacks of shit. Holy crap. Wow. Just when you thought Apple couldn't get any greedier, they tried to pull that horse crap. Wow. Wow, wow. Oh. Anyway, while that was happening, Intercontinental Exchange purchased the New York Stock Exchange, the largest in the world, for $8 billion. So, yeah, there you go. Intercontinental Exchange now owns the New York Stock Exchange. So, yeah, the NYSE is no longer U.S. property. I did not know that. And that explains a lot. Especially the whole Occupy Wall Street movement. yeah, people were finally starting to get wise to the globalist elitists, you know, like, stuff, whatnot, and somehow they turned all those people into idiots. So, anyway, moving on up to 2014, Ismail Abdullah Brinsley killed 2 New York police officers in Brooklyn, New York, supposedly in a revenge killing of Eric Gardner before killing himself. And speaking of things, I made a note to myself to talk about Gray's friend. He did not give me permission yet to speak about it, so I'm going to refrain. But yeah, keep your ear to the ground, because a friend of mine got wounded by someone who then later, you know, removed themselves because police got involved. It was a whole thing. So yeah. Anyway, 2015, landslide from construction waste in Shenzhen, China left 74 dead or missing and buried 30 buildings. Oh my god. It's like a scene out of Idiocracy when the freaking dump truck thing, or like the trash truck, did that last dump and it caused that entire landslide. Only in China would they be like that. You know? Holy crap. Wow. 2 years later, 2017, European Commission triggered first step of its Article 7 procedure, issuing Poland with formal warning of risk to voting rights. Whatever the hell that means, whatever the hell happened that caused that, I have no clue. But that sounds just like a big boy government overstepping their bounds. So, we also have the U.S. House and Senate passed a $1.5 trillion tax and jobs bill. Oh my god. The biggest tax overhaul for decades. Yikes. You know, it's just been getting worse and worse. That's a lot of money. 2018, new figures show average U.S. male weighs 198 pounds and stands at 5 feet 9 inches. Women at 171 pounds and 5 feet 4 inches. So, if you're exceeding any of those, which, you know, I'm taller than that, but unfortunately, fortunately not too much heavier than that, but still, at least I'm taller than this, but not by much. So that's a good thing. But I guess it's a bad thing for women. I'm not sure. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the standards are. I don't hold like individual standards to people. I just have universal standards. So, yeah. Anyway. 2019 landmark climate justice case as Dutch Supreme Court upheld 2013 decision brought by Urgenta Foundation against the Dutch government for not reducing carbon dioxide emissions. So I wonder if that has anything. No, that's Dutch, not Poland. Never mind. Okay. 2019, Little Shell Tribe of Chippewa Indians of Montana were granted U.S. federal recognition, providing the right to certain legal and governmental benefits. Alright, cool. We also have the United States Space Force was founded, an armed forces branch dedicated to space warfare. Yep, and, you know, that is now our fourth military branch. We have the Army, the Navy, the Air Force was created in 1946, and now we have the Space Force, you know, which, funny little thing, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but the instant Brandon, I mean the very instant Brandon took office, he took everything that Trump did and threw it out the window, except for one thing, the Space Force. I wonder why. That's a little interesting, huh? You know, like, what are they not telling us? Where are they hiding behind the curtain, you know? Like, wow, we're all staring at the great and powerful Oz. You know, who's controlling it behind the curtain? So, yeah, what's going on? Anyway, 2020, European countries began closing their borders to the UK after news of a faster spreading variant of Kung Flu across London and the southeast. Yep, so. And then 2021, first Hong Kong legislative elections with only Patriot candidates were allowed to stand has low turnout of 30%. Well, I mean, when you reduce the ability of those who could attend to certain demographics, then you're going to reduce the attendance. What do you expect? 2022, a 6.4 magnitude earthquake near Eureka, Northern California, killed at least 2 people. Yikes. I've been to Eureka. I've been to Arcata. You know, I've been up to those places a couple of times. There's this, I think it's in Eureka. It's this little, like, tiny little diner next to the Motel 6, if the Motel 6 is still there. Really, really interesting place. Like, they have, like, mismatched bar stools and whatnot. Really good food. Like, if I'm ever in the area again for whatever reason, I'm definitely going back there. Really good food. So, anyway, 2022 as well, Fiji's main opposition parties led by Sitiveni Rabuka from a coalition government, ending 16 years of rule by Frank Bainimarama's Fiji First government. Huh. Alright. 2022 as well, multinational company 3M said it will stop making and using forever chemicals linked to health problems such as cancer. Yep, thank God. And last but not least, 2022, just last year, the ruling Taliban suspended university education for female students in Afghanistan, part of a wider crackdown on women's rights in the country. Yep, that's really unfortunate, but, you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. We're not just on YouTube, we're not just on Rumble, we're also on BitChute and Odyssey, so links to all of those and all of our social medias, more and stuff, our affiliates, are in our Linktree, although Linktree is censoring BitChute, so that's why I also have... Hey, thank you for the cheer, Ghost. That's why I have the link down in the description as well to the BitChute, so that way, no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, they cannot shut me up! So, anyway, for your dose of past events daily, we stream almost every day at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. And our other shows, you know, which is, we have the news show, you know, we have... Edge of Disclosure, we have the Peanut, you know, and we have other various shows, so we always, you know, are at 11 and 3, all for thee on the west, 12 and 4, watch us for more if you're Mountain, Central Time, 1 and 5 for the Contrive, and if you're on the east, 2 and 6 for your fix. So yeah, until you catch us again, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!